going to do anything embarrassing.
Right, cool. We're here. You can hear us. There we go. All right. Hello, chat room.
Hi. Here we are.
Like, what's the best way to do this kind of mode? So,
yeah. I gotta turn YouTube down because it's a little way louder than you are. Like, I need to be loud, but if we're talking, I need to hear what you're saying too.
Yeah. All right. There. They can see us now.
I think it's okay.
Good.
Oh shit! Chubbed in the house.
Mm-hmm,
well, then again, there's a lot of first-time chatters because we have a new channel.
It's
so
true.
we had that old channel for a long time.
Yeah.
So that might be. Oh, Kapowi's in here, man. Everybody's ready. A lot of Wrath of the Lich King stuff here.
Yep.
Here we go. I guess we're just going straight through time. Is that what it is?
Oh, we're moving into
Because
Kata.
we're doing like 3.1. Now this is 4.0.
Yeah, so you look at the bottom of the screen, there's the dots
Oh, yeah,
for each expansion
okay.
we're in.
Yeah.
We're counting up to number 10.0, 10th version of World of Warcraft.
Yep.
It'll be exciting.
Oh, man. Sometimes I look at this stuff and I go, oh, this is awesome looking. And then I remember that Glenn Rain left.
I know, it's so
way
sad,
left,
man.
way left years ago, but now Glenn's gone.
Yeah,
And
Glenn's gone.
Eric Braddock left.
Yeah.
Cole Eastburn left. Like the dudes that I thought were like, okay, well, you know,
They defined the art.
It's in good hands because like Glenn, Glenn's got it on lock, and these guys are great coming up behind him, and now they're all gone.
Well, and Chris is not doing as much art now, right? He's on a different project.
He's not. Yeah, I mean, I think Eli Cannon's still the art director. I mean, Eli Cannon's been on the team for 20 years, but
yeah,
a lot of the stuff that they've been doing is really nice. The guy who did the key art for 9.2, like that big jailer piece, is gorgeous.
Yeah.
And the art is still really well managed. I don't think Eli and the art managers are going to come in and...
The biggest thing that I always remind myself, I love that we're moving to Pandaria now, that I always remind myself of with people departing the company is they're literally making room for amazing talent. There's so much talent that joins this team on a regular basis that when I see like, oh, this person designed really amazing systems, or this person did really great art, or this person, really defined this era of World of Warcraft, you're like, yeah, they did, and it's amazing, and I thank them for it. But I'm really happy that they're sort of departing to another project because that's what's best for them.
Well,
and it means that,
especially if they're doing their own thing.
Exactly, and it means that now there's someone else coming into that place with new ideas, fresh perspective, who's just as passionate, right? Who's going to produce
that's like where
great.
Wei came from. There's a beautiful Wei Wong Chen Stormstout piece.
Yeah.
But like Wei was just like this Chinese kid who loved StarCraft, and he brought a drawing of like a Hydralisk or something to some event that like the bosses were at in China, and they were like, do you want to work for us?
Yeah, the amount of people from the art contest and cinematic contest and animation contest,
they get hired,
right? They get hired a lot.
Yeah. All the Alex Horley stuff for Warlords. More of like a 70s fantasy magazine vibe.
Yeah. Blade Fist. It's Kargath? It's Kargath Blade Fist? Yeah, Kargath. Just remembering names here, man. This is... The Arakoa area was pretty cool. I think they did some cool stuff with that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I have a lot of mixed feelings about Warlords. I do think it was the worst era of the game, but the content was good. Like, it wasn't really the content's fault. It's just... The garrison was a quagmire they couldn't get out of. There was just no way around it. And the story conceit was stupid. It was maybe stupider than the Shadowlands story conceit, but like... It was an excuse to have cool orcs. I mean...
It was an excuse to have cool orcs. It was an excuse to bring back characters like Velen and whatnot that we hadn't seen or really gotten to interact with on a large level. So they created opportunities for things like that were neat with Warlords. I would have been interested to know what it would have been like had we been traveling to an asteroid or something that orcs had sort of been living on for a period of time, right? And if that had been the concept, and they sort of ignored the time travel bizarro-ness and had, less Gul'dan and had less...
Well, I mean, I think the thing was they specifically wanted it to evoke Orcs and Humans and the First War and all that, because it was the release was supposed to line up with the movie, and the movie got bumped multiple times.
Right.
That was not a good idea. I'm not saying that was a good idea. I just think that was the idea.
Yeah.
The idea was like, oh, well, people will see the movie and then they'll want to see these characters. So these characters have to be in the game when the movie is out. Except all these characters have been dead for a generation in the story. So what do? It makes sense on a certain level, but like the movie didn't land anyway. So I don't know.
Oh man.
Legion, what else is there to say? It just makes me sad, actually. I just miss it so much. Like, even last week doing time walking, like, going back to Legion Dalaran to go to the vendor after to turn in the crystal for badges, it was just like...
Dude, I loved BFA as an expansion.
BFA was good. It was better than people give it credit for. It really wasn't
Legion, final version of Legion was, peak WoW in the last 10 years, for sure, for me. But BFA, I loved the art. I really enjoyed the story, a lot of the story arcs that were happening in there, even though some of them were really stalled out or didn't really go anywhere, which was unfortunate. But like the smaller stories, the questing stories, those sorts of things, really loved them. Yeah. The content was fun. I enjoyed the loop that I was doing. Like it was definitely a positive era for me in my World of Warcraft career.
Yeah. But, no, I mean, I think it was better than people gave it credit for at the time. It started really bad.
It started horrible.
8.0 was
so
just a mess.
Yeah.
Even up to like 8, even 8.2 was like, it was starting to turn around. By like 8.3.5, it was actually really good, but I mean, it's the same arc as Shadowlands. Although I do think Shadowlands has had kind of better, like a better dungeon pool, and just the dungeon system is better.
Right.
I personally prefer the raids a bit more in Shadowlands, except for 2 of the 3 final bosses. It's just the theming. The theming is just ugh.
Yeah.
Oh man, here we go. It's almost time.
I know. I want to get into another topic, but I'm just gonna have to shut up the moment
everything's gonna change in 30 seconds.
Yeah. And for stream, if you're curious, you're about 6 seconds behind what's actually happening. I have the timer on my screen. I have the timer on the stream screen. I can see they're about 6 seconds apart. So that's the difference.
That's what happens when you're not partner, man. That's as low as you can get your stream latency.
Yeah. All right.
I'm going to shut up, but I'm going to leave my mic on. So if I make noises, then you will hear that.
All right. I'll adjust volume if it's too quiet or something when it starts going here.
All right, here we go. All right. Oh, shit. Legion's coming back out. Oh.
Not quite.
I was going to say, sold.
Yeah, let me turn this up because that got quieter.
Yeah, now this is way quieter.
Yeah.
I actually got to turn it up myself.
Oh. There we go.
For the Alliance!
Oh, the BlizzCon throwbacks, man.
Yeah. Remember BlizzCon? That was a thing.
That was the thing. That was the thing that we went to.
Many times.
Many times. There's like subtitles.
Yeah, that was nice.
Hi everyone, I'm John Haidt, General Manager for Warcraft, and with me today are my friends Ian Hazacostas, who is the Game Director for World of Warcraft.
Ian already looks uncomfortable.
I know.
Who leads up the production team for WoW Classic. I really appreciate you.
I should have filmed this in the library.
I know we're really excited to be able to give you updates on what's happening in World of Warcraft. But first, I want to thank our community for all the feedback you've given us this year. And especially our community council. You've helped shape and influence.
They're trying to like set this
and what you're going to
as we're sitting at the table. That's what they're trying to set it up as.
Really,
for Shamrock
in
wise.
particular, the story of the last 9 months or so of this expansion.
Oh, why there's like German subtitles on my stream?
I shut them off. I was
they're off.
From them.
All right, sorry,
and
stream.
Us realizing as a team that we just collectively needed to do a better job of making sure the community felt heard, and so that led us to the changes we made in 9.15. but also really re-examining some of the assumptions and foundations of World of Warcraft about things like character investment and mains versus alts, or how catch-up should work, or the appropriate role of friction in our systems. And I think 915 represented a step in the direction of letting players have more freedom to play World of Warcraft the way they want to play it. And we really built our Eternity's End content update from the ground up around those principles.
What are some of the things that the community said that influenced your decisions for Eternity's End?
Things like the method and pacing of acquisition of the Covenant Legendary item, tons of tuning, and I think every step of the way, we were listening to make sure that we were carrying forward those lessons learned in the course of 915 into Eternity's End and beyond.
So WoW Classic was really came about because
learned in 915. I just want to point that one out. Not the lessons learned in beta that they needed to carry into 915.
About the world and the players that inhabit it, and we are in a lot of ways curators and caretakers of that journey and of that experience. And so once this classic community formed and grew, we had to listen to them.
It's this tide of listening to the community and paying attention to what is a good experience for our players now. And where we really saw a sea change in this idea is with our Season of Mastery realm, which is a Season of Fresh Start Classic. And initially we were talking about
this is like the ad space at the start of the announcement here they have to put in.
It'll be about a year
This
long.
is them.
And then when the community
Remember all those things you get for your sub?
Sort of apologizing and like trying to catch you up if you haven't been paying attention, which I'm sure a lot of people are in that boat.
Small community project into this Soul of Iron system that became a centerpiece of Season.
And yeah, that's Holly Longale. She's the producer on the classic team, the lead producer, I think.
Built around lots of, thrilling victory and painful defeat.
5 hours. I made it 5 hours.
Yeah, and it continues. Like Burning Crusade Classic, we wanted to balance the Paladin seals between Horde and Alliance, so we made an addition there. We wouldn't have gotten there without the community's input.
So, influence the community, you've got another update and pretty significant controversial change for this.
Yeah, cross-faction play coming in 925, which is on a public test realm now as a big centerpiece.
Cross-faction. Yep. You're breaking with a 17-year tradition.
Yeah, it's something. It was not an easily made decision by any means, and I think this is another one of those areas where really we try to take to heart community feedback and requests and ask ourselves as a team whether there's a way.
I think this is Ian's last, his final bow as game director. I think he leaves after this thing ships.
Players' desire to play with their friends.
I think it's entirely possible. Yeah, I've been wondering for a little while.
Identify with, even though their raid group is.
I was half expecting to see Morgan sitting at this table.
And I love absorbing the story for each race, and having that ability to play with all of my friends across factions is fantastic.
At the end of the day, the battle cry is for the Horde. It's not against the Alliance. It's not death to the Alliance. It's about pride in one's faction. And I think there's a way to preserve that and even strengthen that while giving players
I turned up the video
chat,
so
same choice.
Hopefully that helps a little more.
Make time and time again.
I can't wait to do this. I'm seeing
We're not
a lot
blowing
of
out
my friends
eardrums.
that I never knew had a max level character in the other faction suddenly come out of the woodwork.
And then with these cross-faction groups, many of them are going to be diving into something new that we're doing to kind of cap off Shadowlands, a Season 4. Kind of a remix, a bit of a greatest hits, revisiting all of our raid zones across the expansion, bringing in some familiar older favorites into the Mythic Plus rotation. And we recognize this is kind of a closing chapter, a little bit of a send-off to Shadowlands. As everyone gets ready for what happens next, and what will come next, want to give a fun new challenge for everyone to sink their teeth into.
Really cool stuff for modern WoW players. I'm super excited about the gear upgrades that you're going to give me and the chance to go back and play some of those awesome raids.
There's a lot to explore.
Can we delete Sylvanas' fight from
For
the
our next adventure in World of Warcraft,
To revisit them.
we're going to go back to Azeroth.
Oh, we
We're
go.
going to a space with high fantasy. I mean, our fans of Azeroth for a long time. This has been kind of the foundation of much of the lore of WoW. So without further ado, let's watch the cinematic.
Here we go. You're gonna hide us. Illidan.
Yeah.
The world has been sundered. cries out in pain. We must go to its aid. We entrust our ancestral home to you, the Watchers.
This looks amazing, by the way.
Yeah.
Let the land slumber, hidden even from our own eyes. You will feel our return in the waking of the land. Then, you must light the beacon of Tearhold, lest the path home be lost to us forever.
Smiling.
He's been so happy this whole time.
I know. Oh, he's worried. Got the worried brows. Oh no.
Yes, wow, full CGI Alex Straza, dude.
The world is healing, but her fate is yet uncertain.
I get the feeling there's going to be dragons in this expansion.
Several.
Together,
That was a nice
we
shot.
shall be
Yeah.
Azeroth's protectors.
That'll be a
once
poster.
again.
Yeah.
Here, the new age of dragons shall begin.
Nice. A cool logo. Really cool logo. I mean, no surprise there in terms of title and theme. That was all, that was all in the website metadata, but that was cool. Really, really cool intro. Tells a cool story. No Sylvanas.
Dragons!
Dragons.
This is so cool.
No one saw it coming.
No one saw it coming. Carefully kept secret. But seriously, I mean,
Carefully kept
what did we just
secret.
see there?
Yep.
The awakening of the Dragon Isles, the return of dragons, the dawn of a new age. Right, we've seen Rathian searching for his father's legacy, searching for the Dragon Isles. There's a reason why he hasn't been able to find them until now.
The beacon going off, is that summoning the dragons?
It's
Pandaria.
removing the concealment that
they,
Dragondaria.
world.
They
This is Dragondaria.
also showed the
Dragons
Legion one. I actually remember doing quests around the Watchers and Legion
assume
at the
a
base of that
variety of
like
locales
Crystal
within
Hill.
The Dragon Isles?
Yes, the Dragon Isles,
pretty
as
cool.
kind of standard for WoW expansion,
That's good, that's
consists
visible,
of
yeah.
5 zones,
There we go.
4 standard leveling
New starter zone.
and a new starter
Tuskar!
zone that
There
we'll
was
get to
Tuskar
in a
there.
second.
Can you talk a little bit about how the team found ways to
Allied race.
thread the dragon aspects
Oh.
throughout the environments?
The Dragon
Wow.
Isles are a place that is lush and primal, bursting with elemental energy. As Azeroth herself reawakens, those
We're going
primal
someplace
forces are
green,
expressed
everybody. It's
throughout
gonna be
the
exciting.
environment,
Melt
whether it's
Slayer. Oh my
magma
god,
activity
dude. Look at it. It
volcanic
looks like
activity,
Ezra.
Whether it's the icy
Yeah.
waters, the Azure
Yep.
Span. And each
the
one of those
spooky autumn
has a
forest.
connection
Yep.
to a dragonfly.
This is
that
what-
we've
this is
seen
where I wanna
before.
live. This is what I wanna
And it's
play.
a place
Yeah.
for players to arrive at and explore.
All right, you know I'm going to ask.
Yes, okay, so
Can I be a dragon?
let's start getting into some features here and what
Okay.
Dragonflight means for you as well as just a place. So first
Allied
off,
race?
yes, we have an all-new playable race.
Yep,
the
dragons.
Drakthir race.
Oh, wow.
Yep, they're doing
this
it.
is a dragon, a draconic
This had better
race
have
like
druids.
Dragons in
Druids had
Warcraft
better be able to be
have the
fucking
ability to
dragons.
Take on a humanoid form.
What classes can they be?
They have unique abilities as literally a dragon. That doesn't quite fit any of our existing
Oh,
classes.
no.
And so
Oh,
what we're
wow.
doing is this is not just a new race,
okay.
but it's also a new class.
It's a micro
You know, adding
class.
a new race to World of Warcraft, and not just an
Nah.
allied race, is
like
something that we don't do lightly. But
kind of
telling
Demon
this
Hunter-esque.
expansion, the story so focused around dragons, felt like the perfect time.
What
for
kind
it.
of gear do they
So
wear?
if
Do
you
they wear
are a
mail?
Drakthir, you will be
Hopefully.
the Evoker class. Drakthir can only be Evokers.
Okay, nobody got
Evokers
this
can
right.
Only be
This was
Yeah.
not
and
predicted
the
properly
reason why
anywhere.
only
Yeah.
a Drakthir could be an Evoker is that an Evoker is really combining the ability to call upon the magic of the different aspects with the unique physical gifts that a Drakthir has. The ability to actually
cool. I don't wanna
take
do
flight,
this,
do
but
an
it's cool.
Onyxia style,
Yeah.
strafing deep breath over the battlefield, land on the other side, knock everyone back with a wing buffet, and then unleash your magical abilities.
Yes, please.
The Evoker has 2 specializations. They're
What?
a hybrid.
They're adding a
of
range
either
and a heal,
ranged
and they wear
DPS
mail.
or healing.
They ticked all
And
the
they wear mail
boxes.
armor.
Yep.
We figured
There we go.
Holy
the
shit,
hero
dude.
classes
Yep.
have added over the years.
First time
That's
ever.
what I
Melee,
said.
we
If they're
don't
going to
need
add it, it
those.
has to wear mail, has to
And
be
also
ranged, has to
Paladin
have
and
it.
more leather wearers.
Actually, I wanted
The
tank spec
raid
too. But
leaders are going to love you
Yeah.
for that.
Exactly. This is
That's
definitely
great.
a hero class.
If that
And
actually
so
fits a niche
means
that we
you know,
need.
Like the Death
So-
Knights before them or Demon Hunters, they will be starting level 58, and then they're
Cool.
going to have a new starter
Okay.
zone.
They start
So
at
they're gonna have a
58,
slightly different journey
unique starting
into the
zone.
Dragon Isles as opposed to the rest of us that are sailing there from other parts of Azeroth.
It's like DK's
Can
kind
you
of.
talk
That's
a little
awesome.
bit about the customizations? Like what is going to be able to identify my Drakthir character?
basically
Wow.
anything and everything. You know, skin color,
Give me
hair
the,
color,
like-
jewelry,
oh, man, the
tattoos,
like,
other
humanoid
adornments.
ones?
You can make this
Yeah.
character the
Dude.
expression of your
I guess
identity.
you switch like a Worgen. It seems
I
like.
guess, yeah, I guess it's like a Worgen.
New class,
Yep.
new race. Well, tell us about some of the system updates or features.
Of course, the new expansion brings with it, new systems, new features. I think in recent expansions, one of the things we've tended to do is really have these deep features that were closely tied to a specific expansion that would then get left behind as we moved on. And we've heard loud and clear from players that, it's kind of a bummer to start off every new expansion by leaving a large part of your character behind, by leaving a large part of your progression behind.
Do we carry
so
covenants?
This time around, what we're doing is really pouring all of our energy into permanent revamps, overhauls, and improvements to World of Warcraft's core systems.
Oh, permanent.
Things like
Okay.
our progression systems. In this case, our talent system is something that we want to completely revamp.
Oh.
We want to take a look at our UI. We want to take a look at professions.
So with the talent revamp and the arrival of Classic, did you learn anything about how our talents work?
I think seeing a new generation of players play with those talents and work through those talent trees really underscored some
Give
of the
me gag
things
order
that,
back.
frankly, we
Oh,
lost
man.
when we
We
shifted
are
into
gonna
the
get
Mystic
old talent
Crazy
trees
style
talent trees,
talents
yeah.
and beyond. A big piece of that was just the granularity, the feeling of getting a level and spending a point
Chuck, you have
to
a new main
customize
every
your
6
character
weeks.
to make yourself a bit better in some specific way. But also, that sense of
It does look cool,
hybridity that you could have. That's something that we've largely lost. And so the new talent system avoids directly pitting player power throughput choices directly against those sort of utility hybrid
Resto
choices.
points and druid points. That's interesting.
It looks like conduits, actually, except
there's a lot of strength in the flexibility of the modern talent system to let players customize their talents for a particular encounter or for dungeons versus PvP. And we don't want to lose any of that.
So John,
I can get into it. It seems cool.
Yes, I got this 30-inch monitor, trying to keep track of where I am on the map, all my buffs.
He's like, shut up, John.
What's going on in chat? It has literally made my eyes go like this. So,
You're not alone in that. We've made a lot of incremental changes and additions over the years, but really this is a revamp. This is an overhaul. And so we're excited to really modernize the look and feel while staying true to the origins of World of Warcraft. Now, at the same time, we're not looking to take away the sort of power user customization there. Add-ons are still there if you want them, but we want a much better default out-of-the-box experience for all players, new and old alike.
And can I reduce elements, remove elements, if I want to explore the world and see the beauty of Azeroth?
When it comes to specific elements, as much as possible, we want to let players choose what to show and what to hide so that they can control it themselves.
And the UI revamp.
I have a critical question about this.
Go on.
Can I wear a chef's hat?
Yeah, I knew it.
Yes, you already can.
Yeah.
Our
you already can.
Not in
classic. Not in classic.
Is really all about delivering on fantasy and identity as a crafter.
Like what?
And so if you want to be a serious blacksmith, if you want to be a great leather worker, we want to deliver the ability to
Ooh, that's a neat
invest
panel.
time and energy into that. Become a master crafter. Be able to make items that are in demand, interact with the community. One of the big pieces that we want to do to support that is a new work order system.
That's cool.
To have a bit more convenience than just spamming trade chat all day. But if you are someone, you're not yourself a blacksmith, but you have a bunch of mats and you want them forged into a great sword, you can put that work order up, list your mats, offer a commission.
That's a really great feature.
That would have been really nice.
That would have been amazing, this whole expansion.
I think we left out one thing, though.
I love work orders.
Go to Dragon
Oh,
Isles.
it's so cool.
Can I have a
Yeah,
dragon?
that's great.
What's the fantasy
Really, really good.
of dragons, if not soaring over the land?
Do a barrel roll.
And so
Wait,
we're really excited to introduce a feature we're calling dragon riding. It's dynamic with everything from momentum.
We already
to
can ride
dive
dragons.
Bombs, the ability to just sort of build that speed up.
We
and
can't do
feel
this
the
like
world
dive
rushing
bombing
past
thing.
you in a way that should be much more exciting than traditional flight that we've made available in the past, but that's also available for players to customize the dragon mount right from the start.
So this is a skill you learn over time, right, to become an awesome dragon rider?
Yes, you'll be able to sort of upgrade aspects of your flight.
Oh my god,
but
dude.
You will have this new form of flight from the start. And the dragon companion that you have is, of course,
from the
very
start.
thoroughly customizable, which is a new thing for us for mounts. This is not just
this is how to train your dragon.
How to train your dragon is World of Warcraft.
What do you
oh,
want
give me! Can I customize a storm drake, dude? If I have my own customizable storm drake, I'm all the way in.
Chin, I love the chins on those
things. I hate
things.
shit like that. Like I don't care about shit like that. But if you give me a storm drake that I can make my own little buddy,
going to the all-new continent of the Dragon Isles, which consists of 5 zones. 4 standard
dude, the zones look so good.
For our
I'm really happy they're bringing Tuskar
back.
back.
A range of systems revamps,
I like them as a race.
Such as a new talent system.
The new talent system to me, super exciting. What they could do with that.
Fresh look at professions with more depth than ever before. Also, getting around the Dragon Isles is going to come in the form of dragon riding.
That's a cool looking dragon model.
So you get a mount from the start, which makes me wonder whether or not there's no flight paths.
And of course, as with any new expansion, we have
because they just give you a flying mount at the very beginning.
And much more to come.
We also have an alpha that will be starting up in the future.
Check out our website for more information.
Okay, I thought he was going to say something there.
Signups if you want to help us test out Dragonflight and give us even more feedback to make it better.
Okay, I was going to say, like, this has been really light. Like, this is not a BlizzCon thing.
Classic players, we haven't forgotten about you.
Cataclysm, we're skipping Wrath.
Guess where we're going to go next. One of the all-time favorite expansions for World of Warcraft. Let's watch.
They should stop at Wrath.
Oh, they're gonna do a cinematic.
I don't know if they
this
will.
Better be the sword cinematic redone. I'd love this.
I don't really want to play classic, but I'm feeling like I should level up my TBC tune finally and get so that I can keep my same tune and then play like Wrath Classic might actually be playable. The leveling's not that bad, and like endgame is accessible. Especially if they put Dungeon Finder in the game from the beginning instead of in 3.3.
Yeah.
3.2, whatever it was.
My son, The day you were born, the very forests of Lordaeron whispered the name Arthas.
So it's just like a recut.
Yeah.
Of the, like, we know, well, whatever.
When my days have come.
There are a lot of people who are interested in WoW now that didn't play this expansion, which is weird, but true. It's been so long.
Shall be king.
I mean, I'm down for.
Wow, I'm surprised it's coming out this early. Like,
it's this year. Okay.
I mean, that doesn't even give TBC a year and a half to breathe.
I know, that's crazy.
But I
guess with Season of Mastery, it makes them want to just ramp it, right?
The cinematic, I get chills. No pun intended, I do.
I think
chills.
I think they've kind of proved that they can just have different classic flavors and people will play whatever. At least for the old stuff.
So many memories. When you see that cinematic, what do you remember from Wrath of the Lich King?
Anytime you want to talk about it.
I mean, who doesn't want to talk about that, Joe, at all times?
As the source. That was the first expansion I played with my youngest son. So I can remember on that platform, black goo and chunks of ice falling off, and having to repeat.
How much do you think John stood in Defile?
Finally downed him.
All the time.
It was such an incredible moment. He jumped up out of his room, and I jumped up out of my office. We're like, yeah, did it. So it's a very lasting tale for me.
So as you know, with this expansion, you will, in pre-patch, be able to play the Death Knight. They will start at level 55. You don't have to have a high-level character.
That would be ridiculous for Classic.
So everyone will be able to make one.
We're excited to give players some time before Wrath officially launches to get geared up and ready to jump into Northrend with everybody else.
And there are so many zones and areas.
Yeah, I got to start playing TBC Classic, man. I want to have a 70 that I can port over.
Favorites. So for me, Grizzly Hills has a very special place.
I know it's stupid, but it makes sense in my own brain.
The best I've experienced in World of Warcraft.
I would be fine if they went from Wrath Classic to Pandaria Classic to Legion Classic. That would have been fine with me.
I think they should just stop.
I've got to say Dragonflight.
They should stop after Wrath. There's nothing classic after Wrath. It's not, by definition, you know?
Yeah. Player and kind of making that transition.
That was the first era of the game, and it should. I think it should just stop there.
Yeah, if there was an era of the game, I agree with you. That is definitely the first
Dungeon
one.
Finder, and it feels
ends
like
after that.
how we envision Classic. Dungeon Finder is not a good fit for our community.
That was kind of the first step that may have eroded some of that social fabric. Now, as people have gone through the experience of going back to vanilla,
they're getting rid of it.
Building those groups, relying on each other.
Sounds like it.
Not wanting
no Dungeon Finder.
A random participant just to show up and then
Next
leave.
thing you know, they'll be like, yeah, we'll do Pandaria, but with no LFR.
You can do that in Shadowlands. You'll be able to do that in Dragonflight. It's a self-selected group of people who specifically want that different experience.
Yes.
Let's make sure that's what we continue to give them.
I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like that makes Wrath Classic a lot less playable.
So we listen to the community and we remove that because individual rating is preferable and a better experience for them than arena teams. Also, with Wrath of the Lich King, Barbershop, which allows you to customize your character. We're going to be adding a few more options that were not.
They're getting rid of arena teams and just keeping the individual rating from the modern game. That's interesting.
Where we are not going to charge a real money fee. It was.
I guess that makes it transferable between the two games.
Right.
Yeah.
It's easy to recognize the systems through the same systems.
Available in game for gold, and we add more options to it, right?
It's sort of like spell batching in a sense. There's a lot of technical advancements, and it's not about the philosophy of what makes classic and what brings people together. It's just what's the better experience, and let's not artificially restrict something that we can provide a better version of just for the sake of nostalgia. And we're happy to say this is one of those cases.
So, Wrath. The level cap's being increased to level 80, so we'll be introducing a level 70 boost so that players who want to get in with their friends or just explore Northrend right away will be able to do that. You can't apply it to a Death Knight, but you will be able to use it otherwise. And
Probably
of course,
get your hands away from your mic.
Inscription, a whole new profession, so we're really excited.
She did that in the last time she was on this too.
As we continue this road to Wrath, we're going to be looking to getting a lot more feedback.
She also likes touching the table. Is the other thing you can hear.
Yeah.
Such an exciting time to be playing World of Warcraft.
Man, I love Wrath, but I don't know, man. I agree that Dungeon Finder sucks, but Wrath without it just doesn't. I don't know. Like,
we're so excited to be able.
So much of the game is like.
Don't forget, there's a deep
quickly accessible dungeons, running them quickly to get currency and all that stuff. Like,
for spending this time with us, and we'll see you in Azeroth.
I mean, like, granted, it wasn't in for the whole expansion, but it was in for the whole second year of the expansion.
Oh, so now we have a deep dive. Good. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Hey.
I literally have a list of
Hi
questions.
there. Welcome to the Dragonflight Deep Dive. I'm Steve Denuser.
And I'm Taryn Gregory. Starting it off here, we're going to talk about the setting and the story of Dragonflight.
Man, Steve's looking
We've
a
got this
little
great
rough.
expansion.
Not like I could talk.
Exciting pre-render trailer that everyone just watched. So let's talk about the setting for Dragonflight, the Dragon Isles.
Dragon Isles have been known for a long time in Warcraft history as a mysterious place where the
Taryn actually
dragons
works on
came
WoW
from
now.
long ago.
That's
but we never
different
knew
from
much
last
more than
time.
that.
We're going to this place that is kind of the broodlands of all the Dragonflights, the place where they nested, where they built their civilization. The Dragon Isles was the center of the Dragon's kingdom when the world was young and the mortal races were just starting to form kingdoms of their own. But when the Legion invaded for that War of the Ancients, that sundering that resulted from the explosion of the Well of Eternity, broke the world.
Literal sundering of the continents of Azeroth.
And because of the breaking of the world, that magic kind of drained away and the land went dormant. So they had to leave the Dragon Isles behind. And as we saw in the pre-render, they left behind some Titan Watchers to look over the land. And when someday they hoped that elemental energy would resurge once again and draw the dragons home and reestablish their kingdom.
And that's when the message goes out to the flights and they feel it in their bones.
Now it's the time for the sky to light up with the colors of the aspects once again, and for Alex Straza and the others to come home. But the land has changed a lot in all these thousands of years they've been away, and some very old threats have awakened as well.
We're looking into the culture of dragons as they exist in Warcraft.
Dragons, as we know them today, were very different in the early past, the early history of Azeroth. They
There he
were
is.
much more primitive, much more
Daddy
savage.
G.
What we now know as proto-dragons.
And then some of the dragons were empowered to become
That was
the
a great
aspects.
story. I
The green
really enjoyed
flight,
that
red
book.
Flight,
Yeah,
blue
really
enjoyed that
flight,
book.
bronze flight, black flight, each with unique powers, each with the ability to protect the world in different ways.
They
These
evolved and
pillars
learned
of
to speak.
draconic
That was
power
cool.
appointed
Yeah.
to defend Azeroth from threats within and without.
Dragons used that power both for good, in the case of most of the aspects, but also for nefarious
Nefarious reasons.
in the case
Uh-huh,
of the black dragonflights led by Neltharion, who would become Deathwing.
And what we will find in Dragonflight is that some of these ancient divisions
They're cool
run
cinematic,
deep.
too.
And so it begs the question, where do we go from here? If this is an opportunity to reclaim their legacy, to be the protectors, as the cinematic mentioned, that they once were.
To do that, they're going to need the help of our heroes, our players, to come to the Dragon Isles with them and face some of these reawakening challenges, because it's not just that this land is peacefully waiting for the dragons to return and reclaim it. There's those old enemies that have awakened as well.
Yeah.
One of those being a race of kind of elemental half-giants, the Jarradin.
The Dragon Isles isn't just populated by dragons or just by the Jarradin. There's also many other
Oh my God,
occupants
dude.
here in the Dragon
Straight
Isles.
up
I've been here
Wrath
either
vibes.
just recently or for a while, including a fan favorite coming back, the Tuskar.
That's going to be awesome. We've got other cultures there as well in the Dragon Isles. We're going to find out about a civilization of centaurs that predates the ones that arose on Kalimdor much later.
And some of our favorite characters that we've seen over the last few expansions, such as Rathian.
And whether he's ready to step up into a leadership role, or if
Ebonhorn.
there are other alternatives out there
Or
that would
his
be better
jaws healed
suited
from that
to the job
fist
of
that,
being the aspect of the Black
Anduin gave him.
Dragonfly.
I think one thing the players are going to be really excited about this expansion is the
It looks like it's on
replayable race,
the
Drakthir.
Demon Hunter rig, man.
right.
Those are
It
Demon
is.
Hunter
It's
animations.
100% the
Something
Demon
that
Hunter rig.
Neltharion, before he was Deathwing, before he went full crazy world dragon, that he put into motion.
Neltharion saw those primalists that were kind of breaking away from
Yeah, make
the
Ebonhorn an
aspects and what
aspect.
they wanted.
2023,
And so
let's go.
in those first experiments, he took the essence of dragons, their strength, their nobility, their wisdom, and he combined it with that scrappiness, that adaptability that the mortal races had. And he wanted to use that to create the ideal soldier in his mind, the Drakthir. Exploration is really one of the key themes of this expansion. We're going to be going to this ancient place that the dragons left behind long ago. So we've made these huge zones with all kinds of places to delve into and find little treasures and little secrets tucked away. It's going to be a lot of fun for
What are those
players
guys
to be
called
exploring
again?
These landscapes.
Oh,
And
those
there's
things from
so
Trolazar's
much
Basin.
architectural history and how
The Wolvar?
clearly
No,
Azeroth
the
Wolvar
are the other
is
guys.
the kingdom of the
remember the
dragons
other
and
guys.
how it lost so much. And the themes of trying to return
Gorloks or
to
something?
that, to
Yeah,
try to
exactly,
find
those
your
things.
legacy.
They just
to try
did a
to
flyover of
figure
them.
out who you
Yeah.
were before everything went awry. But there's questions, thematic questions of what does it mean to be true to your legacy?
How I felt at BlizzCon 2019? That's the opposite
The
of that.
dragons have had to learn those lessons, just like the mortal.
This is all the stuff I like. This is what I wanted that to be, actually. Really.
The dragons
I need to know
see this now
what
as
the
time
AP is,
that they have to return,
and I need to know
and they have to step up once
what
again
the loop
as
is.
protectors of Azeroth.
Yeah.
We're helping the dragons because the dragons have helped us in the past too. So by using the Explorers League and the Reliquary together, that allows us
I wonder
to
if they're
delve
going to
into
rekindle
some of
the
that history.
Jaina Caligos
And when
thing.
I look, upon the Dragon Isles and all of its visual splendor,
these zones
I
look
get
great,
so
man.
excited for
Yeah.
the prospect of a
Hey, there he
truly
is.
Azerothian adventure alongside Calicos, along with
Go,
Rathian,
Fire Devil.
Ebonhorn,
He got a graphic
and
update.
Marithra, as each one of
Yeah, you got
them
a
is
new model.
trying to find their own flight. I am taken by the exploration and the potential for adventure and just new horizons within this world.
There's going to be old stories from that time past, that history that only the dragons knew for the longest time. We're going to be able to explore
I'm still upset
that.
I can't
It
be a
really
druid
feels
who's a
like
dragon.
just a breath of fresh air.
So now
Maybe
we're
we'll
going to
put new
turn
forms
things
in,
over
who
to some
knows?
of our colleagues. We'll take you on that deep dive into the locations
All right, here
and
we
the
go.
features of Dragonflight.
All right,
Maybe not quite.
one of the top things I want to see.
Hello, I'm Stephanie.
Oh, never
I'm
mind.
Josh.
I'm Jackie.
Oh, it is Gary.
I'm Gary.
And we're part of the teams that are building the
I love
first
Gary,
two
man.
zones,
I
the
miss him.
Encounter and the
I hope I
Dragon
get to see him
Isles,
again someday.
the Waking
He's the
Shores
greatest.
and the Onaran Plains. The very first zone in Dragonflight you're going to come to is the Waking Shores. It's wild, untamed land.
Dude, look at the big skeleton back
around
there.
you too, and the elements are just going crazy.
The art team again has hit it out of the park.
You'll see like a lava mountain flowing in through the beach, giant proto-dragons swooping down, gobbling up members of your expedition.
We have such rife opportunities to show elementals rising up because of the crazy
I wonder if
magic
you're going
that's
to have
flying
like
around.
Avatar situation
The one
where you're
thing I
flying
love is
around
just
on your
how you get
dragon
to
and
the
a
Dragon
larger dragon
Isles,
tries
right?
to
So you're
attack
gonna
you
get on
from the
your boat
sky,
and storm one of your
chases you.
Orgrimmar.
Probably. They
And
love
the first
knocking
thing
you out of
do
the
is
air
sail
anymore.
between
Yeah.
like the dragon ruin architectures. The boats come right alongside each other. You can jump from one boat to the other and just start causing havoc on the other faction's boat.
For those who love PvP, this is a great opportunity for war mode.
It's free for all out there. It's going to be great. But it's okay. There's an innkeeper on the beach so that if you're in that situation and you
Oh, you
don't
can
want to be in
swap
war mode
over,
anymore,
yeah.
you can just hop out right there.
The Reliquary and the Explorers League are working together.
The Horde and Alliance are sending an expedition together. It's not the military, it's not the soldiers. This is the scientists,
So
the
no
settlers
goblins.
exploring this new land. So it's a lot more optimistic tone.
One of my favorite things about the Waking Shores
Oh my God,
is
dude, that's
the
a
Red
nice
Dragon
piece.
Flight, led
Yeah.
by Queen
I think it's
Alexstrasza.
new.
This was what was on the
Minded.
this was
They
one of the
have
leaked ones off the
mandate
wall.
of nurturing and protecting
There
all
was
life,
leaked
which means
images of like a blurry
Borderlands,
shot of this.
Gorloks, trolls, everybody.
I think
so
that's the
they
art
take
for
that duty
the
seriously.
shirt
When
is one of
the
those.
Horde
Oh,
and
yeah.
Alliance come to the Waking Shores, they want to be there to help guide the people through the new land and welcome them. But they're not the only one in the Waking Shores.
We have the ancestral home of the Black Dragon Flight there too, which has fallen on tough times since Deathwing's descent. And so Rathian's coming over to the Isles with us, and he's gonna try and come to terms with the state of the Dragon Flight, which is a few loyal Draconids and Dragon Spawn trying to hold their ground. What can the future of the Dragon Flight be if it's just Rathian? Because it's not just the dragons that are coming back to the Dragon Isles, but also their longtime rival, the Jarden.
I love the
looking.
Jardins so much. They're half giants that wield the power
I like
of
that they have
magma,
different
and
colored
when the Waking
cores.
Shores and the Dragon Isles
So one
went
was
to
really
slumber, they
red, one
also
was really
slumbered.
blue. I think
They're
that's a
back
neat
now, and they
way
are
to
ready
Yeah,
to
it just
customize
evokes a different elemental
they're massive.
power.
They're
Yeah.
riding giant lava
cool.
mammoths, parading around, just stomping on your face.
And they were the enemies of the Dragonfly for so long. They fought against the Red Dragonfly, hunted dragons down, and they're really taking this opportunity to rise up. As the Red Dragonfly have the mandate of nurturing life, they don't want to just stomp out the Jarden completely, but they want to make sure that they don't have the power to affect those around them negatively, to make sure they don't go on a rampage and destroy the ecosystem that has been created here.
And so those are awesome things in the Waking Shore, but Steph, there really is only one right answer for the best thing in Waking Shores, right?
What?
This is true.
Finally.
Ducks.
Finally
Ducks.
have those web feet hooligans.
It only
in our
took
game.
18 years, but we have Warcraft
technology.
ducks.
We've
Yeah.
got them
Figure
in.
it out. They
Yep.
can fly.
You should be proud.
Thank you.
You should be proud.
It's gonna be awesome.
The Onaran Plains come right after the Waking Shores. It's so breathtaking at first glance.
The Onaran plains are big, wide open plains. And the player is going to be constricted a little bit, and then you see this big contrast of a zone. You don't always get that opportunity, that cinematic moment where the player can have a framed view when they see this area.
This is a great looking zone, man. This just says it all right there. Picture worth 1,000 words.
You see this giant fire proto-dragon breathing fire, and a herd of centaur like harpoon down the proto-dragon and crash into the ground. And the first thing you get to do is go help them kill the proto-dragon. Like, how cool is that?
Who is Onara?
Onara is the wild god of the wind. And she's appeared before as like this big spirit eagle. She's the one who guided the centaur to the Dragon Isles many, many years ago. She blessed them, took their caravan across, and then showed them the plains.
How fun at the beginning of this expansion was exploring the culture of the centaur.
The centaur are these mighty, awesome hunters that back when they first came to the Dragon Isles, they fought the green dragons all day long. Eventually, they realized that
have we had centaurs since vanilla?
Maybe we should stop decimating each other's people.
Cataclysm doesn't count because it was the same zones.
You guys hang out in the groves, and the centaur will hang out in the plains. But now, the dragons have been gone for 10,000 years.
Link the beta sign up in chat for those who are
curious.
curious.
And the centaur have come so far since then.
Where's my friends and family alpha?
And they've been existing and developing their culture. They all came over as one clan led by the mighty Maruk and Tira, and they founded a new life here. So if you want to get across, you have to follow their rules and their traditions. You have to earn their trust. You are the first outsiders
I need a toy
to come
that makes the back half of my character look like a centaur, from the
centaur
centaur rep.
might rule the open plains, but the green dragons
You said like a horse butt following you around.
And those groves are absolutely gorgeous.
That'd be a great rep toy.
And how great a job it is that we have where I can take all of this beautiful artwork and build these beautiful fantasy groves, high fantasy. We want to do lots of things with an open plane, and we want to be creative with that. But we're restraining ourselves by letting the zone sing, letting the horizon tell the story. We certainly couldn't have done that in Vanilla WoW.
No, definitely not. The zones are so big, you can see so far, especially in Onaran Plains. So we talked to the engineers, and we actually increased that distance.
It spurs you on to want to adventure and look through the zone and explore everything.
The interesting thing for me is we have all these conflicts with the dragonflights. There's missing dragons, there's battles, there's so much crazy stuff happening, but that's not really all we're doing. There's so much extra fun activities for people to do. And the greatest thing is that you need to figure out exactly what's going on and help solve all the problems that are just sprouting up everywhere.
We're just really excited to tell a story that's grounded
So many
in
shots
Azeroth
across the
and
bow to
exploration.
Fraziabi, I feel
There's
like.
so much more to talk about. But now, we're gonna have some folks talking about the next two zones that players are gonna experience in the Dragon Isles.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kate.
Just
I'm
emphasizes
Christy.
how
I'm
large
Kate.
this team is.
I'm Sean. We're going to talk today about Valdrassus.
Dude, how long does it take to build an entire zone from soup to nuts to playable? It must take 2 years
So
to
Azure
build a zone.
Span, yeah. So Azure Span's what I actually thought was Legion because it looks exactly like a certain area of Legion.
Elevation
But
change.
it's not.
And it really started with this great concept art. When we first were taking a look at the design, we kept coming back to one of our favorite Wrath zones, which was Grizzly Hills. And we really wanted to take that, but wowify it more.
Just put
And I don't
bigger
know if you've
shoulder
ever been up
pads
to
on the
Bay
trees.
Area,
That's how you
but in the
wowify
morning,
it more.
that coastal fog comes in and dips down into the redwoods, and that sun shines through. That's really
looks
what
really
we wanted
cool.
to encapsulate with this forest. And not only we have redwoods, but we've got all different
I will
types
say
of
the coastal
trees.
fog looks a little
Eventually,
bit like,
it'll
oh, see,
break
that's
open
better. That's
into this
better.
wide open tundra.
But some of that
that's
fog just
golden
looked like
and
people with
red,
bad
and
view distance.
You'll reach up to another level
Well,
of
it's also
elevation
not
where you can see
optimized.
the
Yeah.
snow. The
Fair.
majority of the zone is covered in
That looks
snow
really
and
cool.
ice. We have giant frozen waterfalls, ice rivers as far as the eye can see.
Tusker, man.
And Sean, I know in the forest we can expect our first creatures.
We have a small group that lives there.
So there is a
called
new
the
level
Gnolls.
cap. We're going to 70.
These gnolls are all throughout the forest
Okay.
and Azure Span.
Oh, dude, the
They've
new
made this
gnoll
their
model looks
home.
great.
Some gnolls with strange
Yeah.
magic that we're going to
Wow.
find out what exactly that's about. Snow gnolls, or
All
as I
right.
call them, the
Up in the level
snolls.
cap makes no sense to me,
Up
but
in the
whatever.
winter area, and then some regular gnolls that are just going to be around
It's
the forest.
mechanically
area.
it's
So
the
then
same
we go into
shit no
big
matter
open
what, but
tundra
what are they gonna do,
where
reset every
we
15
meet
years?
our second group, the Tuskar.
It's going to be really neat to explore their culture a lot more.
And those kids are adorable. I absolutely love the Tuskar. Honestly, all my downtime's probably just me hanging out with the Tuskar.
So it's been a little while since you've seen them. We remember the Tuskar from Wrath of the Lich King. They're also getting a nice
that
cool
Tuskar
upres
glow
for
up.
their models, along with expanding their culture. So there are going to be male Tuskar,
little
female
Tuskar babies.
Tuskar kids.
Aw.
So we're going to fight alongside them, which includes help from a certain group of dragons the blue
New Galagas
dragons,
model's awesome,
we're
actually.
going to follow the story
He
of
actually looks like a
Kalos,
half-elf, like they
our
finally
blue
did
dragon
it.
buddy from
Yeah.
the Kirin Tor, and he's going to be adventuring into Sindragos' archives. It's a giant zone. There's a lot of surprises. When we're done there, we head over to Aldraz's.
Aldraz's. It's really incredible because you will be going through some of the previous zones and seeing a lot of ruins for the dragon buildings. But when you get to Thaldraz's, everything is perfectly intact. It's beautiful. It's pristine. It is the seat of power for all 5 dragon flights and home of the dragons.
That's cool.
It feels that way with the huge vertical mountains. We've got these great cave systems where you may end up finding little dragon hordes.
My favorite dragonflight right now is the Bronze. They've got a really cool area in Thaldraz's, and their magic is time. There's so many cool story hooks that we could dig into there. There's so many cool gameplay options, and we have a little bit of an adventure for players. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I can't wait.
We really wanted it to feel like their old stomping grounds. One of the really cool features is going to be the main city and player hub for this expansion, Valdraken. It is a culmination of all of the dragon's efforts to put together what a city would look like. So we ended up having a bunch of really fun small vignettes where you can see that the blue dragonflight is hosting a public library,
interiors.
and the red and green dragonflights both have their own separate gardens. We'll also have some convenience services for players, including an auction house in the city, which will be really nice if you're looking for more exotic wares. The thing that really sold me on Thaldraz's was the initial concept art we got of Tierhold.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. And this is a 10,000-year-old Titan technological marvel. Tierhold has these awesome aqueducts that actually come out from the structure all the way to the city across the valley. And in the cinematic, there's just this amazing shot where you see Alex
I love that, man. That's like, the water looks so good coming off her wings.
Splashes of water cresting across her wings. So when players are flying around themselves, they get to have their Alex Strasza moment. What an incredible place and filled with so much history.
Tierhold was built by Tyr. He was a Titan Keeper back in the day who helped the Aspects fight Galakrond. And when they settled on the Dragon Isles, he built this facility. And even though Tyr's gone, the dragons have held him in reverence. But that was 10,000 years ago, and they've let the Titans maintain the place. An incredible amount of history has happened since then. Flights have been nearly wiped out. There have been invasions, betrayals. Aspects have died. And these are the kind of things that leave marks on a society. So now they're all back here, and they're all here together.
As we were designing the zone and the city itself, we're trying to figure out, how do we tell those stories at the same time as making sure that this is a really convenient place for players to go and, go shopping, as they tend to do. So much adventuring happening on the Dragon Isles.
It's so cool.
As a player, you probably don't have your own dragon wings. You are going to learn the art of dragon riding.
It's so vertical, and I'm just excited to dive off the tops of towers and swoop under things.
Meta
It's actually one
achievements
of the
for
things that we're
dragon
about to
riding.
learn about
Oh,
next.
I'm sure. Yeah. They'll be like achieving a certain speed while diving.
Hi, I'm Jake.
and-
I'm Andy.
I'm Kali.
And I'm Graham. And I'm really excited to talk to you guys today about the Dracthyr Evoker, our new race and class coming in Dragonflight.
We're here to talk about not only the Evoker, but also dragon riding, which is our exciting expression into the exploration of the Dragon Isles.
We knew with a dragon-themed expansion, we wanted to let you play a dragon. Not a big dragon, Alex Strasza size. That'd be tough to fit into raids. I'm sorry, Jake. Okay. I know.
Fine.
But a draconic humanoid. So the Dracthyr, created by Neltharion.
And like our other hero classes, you get to choose if you want to start on the Horde or Alliance side on character creation.
Okay, somebody did get that right technically, but that's a big technicality. Someone's like, oh, there's going to be a new race that's like a Pandaren.
The Dracthyr are created by an aspect. They have the ability to wield the magic of all 5 dragonflights. So evokers can take advantage of red magic and blue magic and bronze magic.
And to show that, we created a visual, what we call a prismatic effect. This prismatic effect is basically the coalescence of all their energy as they channel it into whatever spell that they're going to cast. You have a red magic spell.
I mean, there better be like a plump dragon that you can be, man. Like, that better be something you can do.
The dragonflight's magic as it turns into the red spell
Yeah,
before
that's a cool
landing on
spell
your
effect.
enemies and exploding and hopefully burning them. And
I'll take that one. Getting that vibe across that they use all 5 was really important to us, but we did want to make sure that each specialization focused on 2, because casting 5
everything
different
being
colors
blue
gets
in
a
this
bit messy.
expansion.
So
Everything
their
in the ground.
damage dealer specialization, their first of 2, Devastation, mostly focuses on red and blue magic. Red being very fast and explosive, burning everything with pyre. whereas blue is more focused and overwhelming. You can shoot a beam of energy out of your mouth to disintegrate one single enemy in front of you.
There's a healer spec called Preservation. The healer spec is going to focus mostly on your green and your bronze magics. So your green is going to be evocative of the Emerald Dream, your growth and your nurturing spells. And then you have your bronze magic, which is going to be more timey-wimey. So you get to heal a wound faster.
So in addition to the visuals and the animation, which all make you feel very powerful, we really wanted the player to have a physical connection to the cast. We have a new type of spell called Empower, where when you actually hold down the button on your keyboard, it charges up the spell. The longer you charge it up, it might do more damage.
It's very
or hit
action
more targets
gamey.
depending on the spell. But it gives you this really physical connection and control that's new for World of Warcraft, and I think is feeling really,
There's
really
going to be a lot of
We have
people who
some
are
great
holding a button down while
animations,
trying to
thank you,
do
Andy,
other
you're
things with their hand.
You feel physical.
I'm going to end up binding close to my mouse.
It's okay.
You can actually.
That's going to be a
Nobody
mouse
ever
bind.
stands in something because they're trying to finish a cast. So
Exactly,
at least
right.
this way you could do something and get out of it, maybe.
In addition to the gameplay, though, another part of feeling draconic is looking like a dragon.
Well, we talked
Or
about
the like
dragons breathing
holding
fire,
it down to
but you
charge
know
it up
what's
and then
actually
releasing
fire?
too early, and
These
that messes up your,
But no, they're
min-maxing
really
of your
good.
rotation.
Awesome.
Because you
So
have
you
your
released 0.2
draconic
seconds
form
early,
and
which
your
means you did
humanoid form.
500,
And
you know,
the
less
customization
DPS or
options
something.
for both of them are amazing.
At least you lived.
What about
Hopefully,
color?
as long as you
Just
lived,
tell us
it's
about
okay.
color.
You can do a lot of matching. So your visage form can have scales that are the same color as your Drakthir form.
But my favorite, super favorite part of customization for the visage form, hair.
Yeah.
Because I can actually do this in game.
Yeah.
The tech is here.
We finally did it.
As players make their way
I'm
through
not
each
really
of the
too
areas
stoked on
of the
playing one of
Dragon
these things. Like,
they'll
I'll make
partner
one
up
and
with
do
the
it, obviously,
Dragonflights
but
to
like,
move through the air as they've never done before. You'll notice I did not say flying because flight has a very specific meaning for World of Warcraft.
Yeah, it does.
And we're talking about something new called dragon riding.
And as the players are honing their dragon riding skills, they're going to get to see all new animations that go along with the different look and feel of the drakes.
We're aiming to shake up movement with this new system, providing players with a deeper immersion with forces like momentum and gravity.
We knew that for Dragonflight, we were going to have the opportunity to show players a whole new set of Dragon Isle drakes, completely unique from all the other things they've seen in World of Warcraft. And so we wanted to come up with a movement system that would add that sense of physics, weight, and gravity.
Seems like
we were
it's
mentioning.
more like
we knew it was going to take
literally
a huge
riding
team
on a
effort,
dragon
not just
than
animation, but
steering
it was
a
gonna
mount
take
in WoW.
effects.
Yeah.
It was going to take the
More of a
engineering
mini game.
team who
What
we rely on
is
heavily,
interesting to me
and
about this
that combined with
is
some
this
new
is
animations
very much
really
a.
helps to lend that feeling of
It's not
physics as you
associated.
move through the air
As far as we know, it's
in
not
ways that you
associated
haven't
with
before.
rating.
And
It's not
the
associated
icing
with
on the cake
dungeons.
is
It's
gonna
not
be some
associated with
really cool
PvP.
effects that
It
we've
is an
added on
open
top of all of
world
that.
feature.
So, for example,
Yeah.
when you start hitting
Yeah, that's pretty
maximum
cool.
velocity, you're going to see
Unless they
contrails
bring back
coming
the
off the
Oculus
edges
as a
of the
Keystone
wings.
dungeon. And
That's
you
what I
have to
mean.
use
Like
dragon
there
riding
could
to
be
do
a raid where you actually
spirals,
everyone has to
build up
dragon
more
ride
and
in
more
it. Like they could do
spells.
that.
There'll be some screen
Please don't do
effects
that.
on the display to indicate that you're reaching
We have hard enough
maximum
time finding the
velocity,
opposite color.
which
We
really
don't need to be
adds
dragon
to the
riding.
overall kind of immersion.
Like
and
everyone
sense
has
of
to dive
reality.
bomb to get a certain speed. You have to
As
make it
players
from
make
X
their
to
way through
Y
the
through
Dragon
a
Isles,
weaving
they'll discover
passageway
new
before
cosmetic
you know
options to
No.
fine-tune
something
their
happens.
Dragon Isle Drake's appearances.
Please no.
Things like swoops, horns, tails, elusive Dragon Isle Drake armor, and more.
Can I have spikes?
Definitely.
Okay.
We want to
The-
provide
being able
players
to
with
customize
all new
your
skills
dragon
to play
riding
with,
dragon
as
seems really
those who
cool,
can use
actually.
their momentum well can reach
That's
higher
like
and higher
way up my
heights
alley
and
in a way
bring
that usually,
on
oh,
new,
customize your
more
thing. Like, I don't
difficult
give a shit
challenges.
about that
We just
usually,
have
but
so many new gorgeous
I
options
will say
to
the
choose
4
from,
options
and
of the dragon that
I'm
you
just
can
so
pick
excited
for
all of them.
customizing
I'm
is
excited
up
for the whole
on the
thing. I
website.
mean, it's been a lot of fun to work on, but
And
I can't
only
wait
one
to
of them
actually
kind of
get in
sort
the
of
game,
has
play
that
it with
Storm
you
Drake
guys.
kind of
I can't
face.
wait.
I can't wait to fly around Dragon
So-
Isles.
some of the new ones are cool.
Next
so,
up,
you
you're
know,
going
I'm
to
sure
hear
I'll
about
find
the
something
talent
I like.
revamp and the UI
Yeah, I think one of the
changes coming in
last
Dragonflight.
2 that are in the link would be the one you'd be going for.
Kalinka.
Hello, my
Yep.
name is Brian.
I'm Crash.
I'm Jay.
And I'm Laura. We are very excited to share we are finally revamping the WoW HUD UI.
And it is also time for a major revamp to talents and
God, Kalinka's
specializations.
massive.
I have a
I
big
know,
question
he's
for the group. How long do you think it took for us to finally revamp
he's been doing nothing
the
but
WoW
working out.
Yeah,
That's all he's been doing.
Close. 18 years. 18 years. Wow.
You know, technology has
Those
changed
shirt
a
sleeves are
lot
hanging
since
over
we
you.
made UI
He's the
back
hope
in
for everyone
2004.
out there who's
Now
kind of out
we
of
have,
shape,
like,
who
bigger
wants to get in
monitors,
shape in
and
their
us
older age,
have better
they
dev
have to
tools
link
to
up.
work with. So
Yeah.
it makes sense to have the revamp right now. Also, if you look at the game today, the art evolved beautifully over the years. And if you look at the HUD looks like
I agree with that, even though I still kind of like it. Maybe it's just familiarity.
We wanted to create a layout experience that players could customize.
I don't think the elements
you should be able to have this layout, and then the customization should be you can tear this apart.
The downside is that
change
not
the
everybody
shapes.
uses them. It's about time that everybody has the opportunity to use them, that they become a part of the base UI.
Yeah, and we are working very closely with our user research team to make sure.
Dude, I'll be on the user research team. That sounds like a great team to be on.
New functionality to improve accessibility in a lot of areas, and
might be a
on
little
top
scary.
of that,
some of these users I don't really want to research.
Yeah, so the art update, it's a big part of this project. The UI that we have today has a lot of charm and personality, and players have been using that for 18 years. So with that in mind, we want to respect the players who really like the current UI, but do a modern take to it, removing the clutter and giving more visibility for your gameplay. So the new minimap, it looks bigger, and the health bar is also much bigger. If you look at the action bars,
they do look nice. It evokes the old design, but it's the higher res, more modern looking.
Yeah,
it can really open up.
It's still designed
so you don't have
in
a
that
lot
way,
of
but
UI in front of you. And of course, we want to
let me grab my mini map and stretch it out larger if I want. Let me grab health bars and whatnot and scale them to a degree that I'm interested in, or change the color of the health, or change the let me do that
we
stuff.
got you. You're gonna have your version as well. So let's talk about the edit mode.
We are putting a mode in that will let players move various HUD elements around on the screen.
So I'm able to move the mini-map, say, from the right corner all the way over to the left corner. If I want to bring my action bars from the bottom and kind of put them more in the center by my character, those are all things that I'll be able to do?
Absolutely. And each of those different
it's like move anything, so you don't need to update the add-on every time there's a patch.
Yeah, exactly.
They'll be able to save it, edit it, copy it, name it. Also, it'll remember which spec you're in. So if you're someone who jumps around
really
a lot,
nice, actually.
as you switch, it will switch to whatever HUD layout you have for
biggest
that
thing
spec.
for me is I
This is
want,
an ongoing project. We're gonna keep
and this
working
is something
on it.
recent
So
I want. I
we
want
really wanna hear
profiles
back
for
from
which buttons are in which places on my bar that I can load in multiple profiles. So if I want to go Boomkin PvP and then Boomkin PvE, I don't have to move stuff on and off my bars. I can just load a profile.
How can we have players have more choice over what their character has?
As you level up, we give you a new spell or a new ability, something that kind of makes you stronger, but it's determined by the designers. We decide the order.
Yeah, we started looking for a system that would give players a much wider set of options.
And after looking at all those things, what we really returned back to was the idea of trees. But it's actually two trees. We have a class tree that offer different class utility, and then we have a spec tree that is focused on performing your role, whether that's damage, tank, or healing.
Can I just jump in and say that I personally am super excited about having trees come back. There's a big nostalgia hit for me.
As we said, we have these two trees because we feel like picking a specialization is a really important part of your World of Warcraft character now. And so we want to make sure that when you choose that, it kind of affects the tree in some way.
Yeah, as soon as you open your talent tree, you'll see something new. The class side will have some abilities filled out for free, just kind of starting you off in that spec you've chosen, but then you'll have your first point to spend in the class tree, which could be something related to
three
that spec
PvP talents at the bottom
right.
right.
Something from elsewhere in the class.
There's a lot of things that we can do here, and part of that is encouraging
So they're
players
keeping
to
the
perhaps
PvP
make
abilities
combinations that they've never really been able to see in the game before. This is an opportunity to put a lot
reset
more
all
art
talents
and
button, they
fantasy
have a
in
war
the
mode
actual
thing
talent
there.
UI itself.
You have seen that a lot through most recent expansions, but not at the base UI.
We want you to be able to tinker with it. You know, we want you to
Now,
be
if you want me to really
make
be able to
a lot
tinker
of
with it,
changes at a
let
lot of
me
times
make
and not necessarily
profiles
have to
for it.
commit.
Give me a
Really
drop-down
is
menu
back
that
to
gives
the
me
player.
profiles.
There
It's
is a
not
drop-down
something we want
on the bottom
people to
left.
feel
The bottom
locked
left. Yeah,
into.
you're right.
And so
Rest
one
to
of the
loadout
things
3,
that
you're
we're
right, yeah.
preserving is the ability to change these talents.
I see that.
At the same kind of frequency that you do now.
Yeah, the old school players, when you see trees this time, just think, yeah, I'll go from my raid night to my arena match and figure out what I think is the best for both of those.
That's a process we want to make really fluid. So we're building a save load feature that lets you create your build, name it, save it, and then load it up very quickly and freely.
Talents were really about the breadth of options. We've made all these different cool things over the years, but when are they at their coolest? It's when players can hold the building blocks of what can make up their class, their spec, and put them together
I don't really
in a way that
love
works
this
for them.
idea,
So
but
these
I'm
are
not
really cool
aghast at
features
it
that we've
either.
been
I mean, it's
working
time to
long and
shake
hard
something
on.
up. It's
We're
been
very
10 years
excited
since
to
the
see
Pandaria Talent
Just a
Revamp.
I
early
agree.
preview of the
It's
things
definitely
we've been
time to
doing.
shake things
We
up.
can't wait to see the
This is
reaction that
a
you have
direction
them.
to go,
Please reach out to us and let us know your thoughts on
I
them.
do feel like
And next
there's
up, we're going to talk about professions.
Yeah,
and
I'm not stoked about it.
there's
but
going to be players
it could
who
be cool.
there's going to be players who look at these talent trees and are like super ridiculously overwhelmed.
And I'm Eric, and we're going to talk about our
don't really
plans
know
for
what to do.
professions in Dragonflight.
And there's going to be a lot of people who are
Professions have been a staple in
hypercritical
World
of the
of
decisions
Warcraft
people
forever.
made in their talent
And they've
trees.
seen lots of really cool incremental updates over their life. But for Dragonflight, we want to do something a bit different. We really want to rethink professions and figure out how to make them part of your identity as a player, if that's what you want.
We really want to make sure that professions feel fun and relevant across all levels of gameplay.
That brings us to our first update, something that we're calling crafting orders. If you want to have something crafted for you, but you don't have the skill or the right profession
work orders,
to do
right?
it for yourself,
Yeah.
you can have it crafted through a crafting
It's the same thing they were calling work
You
orders
can
in the other
basically
segment.
browse any of the recipes that can be crafted, pick the one you want for yourself, and then you include some or all of the reagents needed for the recipe, including ones that only you can get your hands on. You can find
I mean, this
someone
is
in
a great
person to do
feature.
it.
100% great feature.
This is the
Or
every other
you can
year.
also
Oh,
go
we're
to
going
an
to make
NPC
professions cool
and
this
use the
time. We
option
promise,
to
and they never do.
Yeah.
But like
send the
this
order
is a
out.
great
If you're doing
feature at
this,
least.
You can pick, do you want to send the order to anyone?
And the
send a
commission
public
price,
order,
like, it's super
or do you
smart.
only send it to your guild.
I mean,
Super
dude,
smart.
I would do this all day with
Yeah,
with,
100% I would.
blacksmithing, whatever. Yeah, it's just free
100%.
money, dude.
If
Yeah.
you are really
Yeah.
dedicated to your craft, you're going to be the best at what you do.
Now,
One of the coolest
again,
things about this is
server
the item you had
population
crafted
going to be huge
can
in
also be
this.
soul bound.
Right.
In the
So,
past,
like,
you
high
could
pop,
only get
full
your hands
servers
on crafted soul
are going to
bound
have
items
these
by
things
having
all
that
day long.
profession
The lower
yourself.
pop ones,
Now
it's going to be
anyone
trickier
can
to
have them
find.
crafted for them, which is really neat and really expands the number of items that we can provide that are really powerful because everyone
it's
can
cool
have them
that-
crafted through the crafting order system.
You can have somebody make a
Also
thing
really
that
cool 'cause it
binds
means
on
as a
pickup for you.
crafter,
That's
you can
cool.
start building your
Yeah.
client base.
Yeah.
People are going to come back to you to get certain items. Maybe you're the best at making it, or you always throw in a little something extra. You're also going to be leveling up your profession.
Yeah,
It's
we
gonna
do
be
it for
really great.
legendaries.
So the first time
Nightmare.
you go to craft, you're going to notice a lot of different things, but probably the biggest is the introduction of quality, both to your crafted items and your gathered reagents. Quality works in a pretty simple way. If you craft something that's a higher quality, it's just going to be better. For a piece of gear, that probably means a higher item level. If it's, for instance, a potion, that might mean a more powerful effect at a higher quality.
They need to
And we're
put
doing a
some
lot
sort
of
of
new things with
customization
UI.
in for
Put a lot of
crafters.
work into it to make
So
sure that the
crafters can like
professions
sign
feel
their piece
really
or do
special
something
and
cool
unique.
flair
Another thing you
wise
might
or whatever.
notice in the crafting UI that's new,
Yeah. Or like
is
apply colors to
introduction
it
of
or
stats
something.
specifically to your professions, both crafting and gathering. And this is another sort of major input into quality. Probably the biggest source of your ability to craft items at a higher quality is through crafting specializations. We've had crafting specializations in the past, as far back as original World of Warcraft. With Dragonflight, you can go out and earn specialization points in a whole bunch of different ways. So maybe you find an old book on a bookshelf in a ruin somewhere, or a hermit in a cave who can teach you a little bit about your profession. So let's say you're a blacksmith. You might decide that first you want to become an armor smith. And the more points you spend in armor smithing, the better you're going to get at crafting all armor.
This also means that if you specialize one way, other people in your guild may specialize in a completely different path. So this means that your guild could have
Yeah, and then they can
several
all
top
quit after the
blacksmiths
first raid tier,
everybody's
and then
providing
you lose all
something
that. So better just do it all
valuable
yourself.
to the team, which is really cool.
Now, that
Hopefully you
reminds
can
me
do it all
of
yourself, right?
another
Hopefully it's
update.
not the
We're actually adding
old school
crafting
way of,
tables
are you going to be
all
an armor
different
smith or a
crafting
swordsmith or whatever,
We're going
right?
to take those and we're going to put them all in the main city of Valdrakken. And you're going to go in there and you're going to get to see all the different players crafting their items at their cool crafting tables.
Yeah, it means you're going to walk into the city and you're going to see like all these alchemists huddled over here, and you're going to see all these blacksmiths over by the forge. There will be other players filling orders or grabbing orders. It's going to be a whole new crafting area that's going to make you feel really part of the world.
It just seems like a much
That's kinda
more
cool.
lively area
Yeah.
than it has in the past.
What I'm most excited about, though, is
I like the
gear. We're
profession
introducing new
themed
types of gear for every
cosmetics.
profession.
I'm not gonna wear
And
them,
when you
but I
go
like the fact that they
to,
exist.
Say, mine and
Yeah,
Rogue,
it's cool
you're actually
flavor.
going to just switch into that gear. It's going to be really great.
You're not going to have to carry that
You can
stuff around
transmog it all around if you want. It doesn't have to
There's
look
actually
like
going to be
that.
dedicated slots for each
I'm not
of
gonna wear
your
it.
pieces.
Oh.
But I'm a numbers guy.
Wait.
I love progressing. All all
what?
pieces of profession gear will have.
I think I just heard that.
Stats that we mentioned.
He said there's going to be special slots for all of this gear, so you don't have to carry it around. You just equip it in the special slots.
I can't wait.
Thank
I am
you
down
for tuning
this.
into the Dragonflight deep dive.
That'd be nice.
We've heard a lot about the
Like literally,
content
if you're going to
and
add
changes
in
coming
3 or 4,
Dragonflight, and we've got a lot more in store
profession-based
for you in the
items,
coming
don't
months.
make me carry them
Until
around my
then,
bag. I
we'll
don't
see you
want
in
to carry my
Azeroth.
Finkel Skinner anymore, kind of thing, right? Let that just be a special profession equipped slot.
Yeah,
I love that idea.
Yeah, I mean, it's for most people, it's like a couple bag slots tops, but still, like,
Yeah.
Well,
I guess that's it.
I mean, the stuff looks awesome. It was kind of light. I mean, like,
yeah,
I guess that's good, right? Like, they didn't hit you with like, oh, here's the the Covenant thing or whatever. Like,
let me get. There we go. Okay, so I've got the. Oh wow. Okay, I don't know why I also have this browser open. Let's get rid of this. Boop. There we go. And let's make this bigger so everyone can see it. One sec here. Push that live. Okay. So, actually, I'm probably make this even bigger. Scroll it. No, it's not going to let me. All right. Anyways. There. Make it bigger on my screen. And we'll make this bigger. And then I'll zoom this all in. So this is what we got from Dragon Isles from press. So everyone's curious what the press got. We got Dragon Isles. This is where I have the new level cap increase. Right there. We got the Drakthir stuff. Oh, 1 second. Let's keep Jason and I visible too in this. Shall we? Oh, we're like hiding behind it now. Move this down. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I'm opening this up here on my side.
Yeah, you can look at our stream. You can see it there. That's better. So yeah, so the new level cap increases to 70. That's in here, right?
Yeah, which is weird. Like, I'm just gonna say that that's weird. I felt like they had it all built out to just be very modular and just go to 50 every time.
Thought so, but
so I don't mind. It's just weird. I guess it was more expedient. If it saves them time because they have bigger priorities, then that makes sense to me.
There was no. They did not mention in their presentation that this level cap is increasing. This is literally something that is in the press notes and it's on the official website. So the other place,
it was not discussed.
Yeah, the other place to go, which I guess we can bring up here. 1 sec. Does this actually shows the other browser? Right, let me remove this. I will re-add the.
I mean, like, functionally, it makes no real difference that they're not going to 50 and having you level to 60. It really doesn't matter because you're just going to level up 10 times on your max level characters, and your non-max level characters are going to be 20 levels away from cap. So you were going to have to level them up anyway if you didn't level them up to max before Shadowlands ended. I guess it potentially restricts Chromie time. Like, does that mean that you have to level Chromie time to 60 and then do Shadowlands and then Dragonflight? Maybe. I mean, Shadowlands leveling is not that bad, and it'll be better by then. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't make any difference to me. I don't think it makes any much of a functional difference. It's just weird because it seemed like they went to such great pains to build this, one Azeroth system where it's like you could level to 50 however you want, and then max level is going to be 60 in the new expansion.
Right.
And it's like, oh, okay, I see. Years from now, they'll just take Shadowlands and put that in the pool, and everybody, they scale everybody back down. It is a lot less work to have to like rescale non-max level characters again, and blah blah blah.
So I'm now on the Dragonflight Blizzard webpage, and so they have their brief intro to each of the Drakthir themselves and what they can do, and this is where I was finding the dragons, some of the dragon riders. And so I think one of the last two are probably going to be the ones that you end up with because these two sort of have the more snub-nosed kind of situation going on.
Let me pull up what you're looking at.
Yeah.
Where is the?
No, 1 sec. I will link this.
Where's the dragon riding? I mean, I gotta say that this is a really feature light reveal, which is not necessarily a bad thing. I think they've been a little bit too up their own ass with features, to be honest. Yeah, I like that third one, the green one. That's pretty cool looking. With the big horns out the back. The first one's cool too. It was like a really just amped up proto Drake looking thing.
I kind of like the last one, even though it's the more tame one. It's just
it looks like
nice.
like a it looks like a red dragon.
Yeah, looks like a
red dragon vibe. Yeah.
Great website, by the way. It's really fun. And
yeah,
cool
it's really nice design.
But yeah, they have this is also the beta opt-in site. This is what I linked in chat for those who are curious. But yeah, this is the other place where I saw the down at the very bottom additional features. That's where you have the level cap increased to 70.
Yep.
Right in there.
There's gonna be new dungeons and raids.
Yeah.
By the way.
Yeah. By the way, that's another feature they're putting in. They do mention that we're gonna, Unknown Chambers of Uldamon is gonna be in there.
Mm-hmm.
So we're expecting to go back. And have some
looks like there's a Black Dragon Flight dungeon. There's a red. I mean, I would imagine there's one based on each of the dungeons, and then some Titan-y stuff.
Yeah.
New raid. Prison of the Primal Incarnates. Okay. So that's going to be your first raid. Sounds cool. I assume those are the Greek statue looking elemental dudes that they were talking about, like that. Okay.
Yeah.
That all works for me.
And the new talent system in there and the HUD layout.
I mean, the zones look really great. Like exactly what I want to be playing and hanging out in for a couple years. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not mega jazzed about the talent thing. Like, it's fine. It would be interesting to see how much stuff is available. Like, I mean, they didn't mention like a spell book revamp, so I assume, I don't know, maybe it's dangerous to assume. It says like druid and restoration points. We've never had class talents before, right?
Well, no, we have.
Like, it goes into a tree.
If you open your spell book, you have.
No, we have class spells. Those are spells.
Sure. Okay, sure, but I feel like it's the same concept, right? You open your spell book,
that's what I'm saying. But is it the same concept? Do we still have the spell book as it exists, or is this how we pick like the actual abilities that we have entirely? Like no more spell book?
I doubt that. I think spell books. So this is
right,
what.
So this adds a lot more customization to your playstyle than if we have baseline class and spec spells, and then talents unlock new abilities or modify existing ones on top of all the stuff that's baked in.
So
that's cool.
Right now, when I choose to take Renewal or choose to take Wild Charge, it changes which spells are in my spellbook. So that's what I'm saying this is. You have your spellbook, and what's going to be in your spellbook is going to be changed based off of which talents you choose.
Right, but I mean, what I'm saying is when you look at this example screenshot, like there are a ton of abilities in the Druid tree on the left side. So like, are you getting nothing from your spellbook anymore and you have to activate it via the talent trees in order to have any spells at all? Or are there spells that you have access to baseline because they're part of your class spec choice?
Well, so here's the thing that terrifies me about the Druid points, Resto points thing. If what you're doing by choosing Druid points is gaining these particular spells, which doesn't make sense because some things like Cenarian Ward in there has 3 points into it, Rejuve has two different spots, and one of the spots has 2 points in it, which makes me think that there are ways to enhance it. Same with Barkskin. Barkskin has 2 points into it. Is if that was the way they were doing it, though, there'd be people who wouldn't spec into Dispel as an option, right? Like if they were doing this, then
some of them are free. I have a feeling that the ones with the squares around them are free, and you just unlock those as you power up.
Can't make this
because that's kind of what they mentioned in the presentation.
Like the initial Rejuve one at the top on the left is a single point followed by Swift Mend, which is another single point, but they don't actually have a number on them. So it makes you think like, oh, I'm learning Rejuve, I'm learning Swift Mend with this, right?
Yeah.
But things like the Dispel down in the center, which is just after Cenarian Ward, just below Wild Charge, that Remove Corruption icon, it has a 1 in it, which makes me think it's a way of enhancing Remove Corruption. That'd be my assumption.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe you can spec into it to work against more different classes.
What's exciting to me is on the right-hand side in the Resto area, they have Tranquility as out on its own on the left side. Now, I'm hoping that means there's a way to potentially give yourself moving while tranking That's what I'm hoping that is.
Maybe.
Is that these things are like powerful conduits? Like, because on the left side you have Rebirth and you have Roar, and on the right side you have Nature Swiftness and Tranquility. I'm hoping these are essentially what the conduits are becoming. So you have your talent trees. Those diamonds on the outside are conduits. And you can enhance abilities that way. That's what I would hope this is.
Yeah, it's more like artifact traits, I think, is the more that I look at it. Well, I mean, conduits were kind of a riff on artifact traits, and they're just kind of baking that into your class at this point, it looks like. I wonder, I just wonder how this stuff interacts with the spellbook. That's my big question, I guess. Like, does the spellbook still matter? Is it going away? Does this stuff turn on everything in the spellbook, or does it replace it essentially? But, I mean, it seems like there's a lot of options for more stuff to tweak and kind of fit your play style. There's still going to be a correct build, but maybe if they add in enough stuff that's like, I mean, right now you're kind of locked in, right? So there's because of the way you have like just the rows, you have to choose one thing per row. Depending on how they arrange stuff in the tree, it's not really a tree. How they arrange stuff in the rows, like. There might be two talents that neither one of them is really like mega powerful, but you'd like to have both of them because it suits a playstyle or it suits an activity that you're doing.
Right.
And there's literally no way to do that. With this system, you could do that. You could make like, some kind of outdoor build that really prioritizes movement abilities and, maybe resets or stuff that happens when you kill a target or something versus stuff that's just better, throughput in longer fights or whatever. That would be awesome. Like this patch that we're playing right now, I've really enjoyed having more dedicated gear and buffs for the outdoor world. Like the stuff in Zereth Mortis is really powerful. So it would be interesting to just be able to kind of spec your character out baseline and take advantage of stuff like that.
Yeah. I have the Dragon Dance up right now because it's just a cool thing to check out.
The Dragon, like it's cool to be able to play as like a dragon empowered character, but like I am not really feeling the art style. That does not look like World of Warcraft to me. Like if you go to the spot on the website where the Drakthir evoker is like is chilling there, like dude, you could clip that out and you could tell me that was a new shit in ESO and I would believe you. And that is not a compliment. I have nothing against ESO, but I can't stand the way the game looks. And like that's kind of what this looks like to me.
I will say that they are. I think part of what you're getting from that is because it's on top of the Demon Hunter model. The frame is because that has a very particular look and feel. And I think the other thing to me is their torso and legs. Like it's very humanoid. It's a little bit. I would have expected their bodies to be more misshapen.
Blood elves almost. Yeah. Like they don't. I don't know, man. And even the dragon forms, it doesn't really smack of like WoW dragons to me. And I mean, part of that is because they had this winged humanoid rig laying around, and I mean, the Demon Hunter demon forms look cool, but they don't really look like They don't look like dragon skeletons or anything. I don't know, man. It's they're fine, but it doesn't smack of like this is a cool looking World of Warcraft thing to me. Right. It looks very generic MMORPG, which WoW has never looked like ever in 18 years almost. But I mean, the new zones and shit look amazing. Like it all looks like WoW for sure. I don't know. I don't hate the new HUD from what I'm seeing. I mean, from the examples, like it looks fine. It really doesn't look that much different. I think the ability to, click and drag stuff would be nice if you need to just put a particular frame or element somewhere for your convenience. Yeah, man, I don't know. Like that was cool. And this shit looks great. Like I'm really excited to check this stuff out. It hews very close to like what I had in mind, what I was hoping where they were going to go after Legion, honestly, and after BFA. Because they've been setting up the dragon stuff for a long time at that point throughout Legion and everything. And obviously the end of BFA with Rathian and all that. So I'm thrilled at the theming, and I think the theme is being pulled off really strongly, and the zones look great and everything. The reveal was like just really weird though, because there's not a lot about kind of day-to-day gameplay anywhere. And maybe there's just not a lot to say. Like maybe they're not doing something that's like, you have to dedicate, consistent time to these particular activities in order to do this. Maybe it's just a more, maybe they're just throwing that stuff out the window, In Shadowlands Reveal, it was like covenants, and this is all the stuff with covenants, and also you have to craft legendaries, and there's Torghast for you to do that, and blah blah blah. And it's like, this is obviously the big debut for Dragonflight. They're not going to do this again. Here's the name, here's the logo, here's the opening cinematic, here's what the expansion concludes. Here's beta signups, and it's like none of that shit was, discussed. So I wonder if it's just not going to be really present to any huge degree.
So I put
which is okay. I mean, I'm okay with that, I guess. I mean, I'm sure there will be stuff to do.
Yeah.
I think maybe it's better to just have stuff in a more generic sort of like, well, if the crafting revamp actually like works, maybe that means that's like a thing you can invest in. You just get like, you go grab mats and you get like more powerful stuff, and you can actually invest in stuff you've crafted and keep it, relevant to end game content and shit like that. Like I'd be fine with that. That would be okay.
Yeah.
It looks like no pre-orders yet, so that makes me think that it's probably not going to be this calendar year.
I agree. Yeah. I put up the initial raid tier set concept art that they had. So this is
I didn't see that. It was on the press site.
Well, it's from the press site. This is the official image of what they concepted out for tier sets, which means there's going to be tier sets for anyone who was curious. It's a thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think I understand why they moved away from it, and I I think there are inherent problems with tier sets. I do not think that tier sets are a boon with no drawbacks, but I think that the problems that they create are far outweighed by the benefits of having them. I'd rather have the problems associated with tier sets than to not have them.
Right.
And as long as you have like a creation catalyst type feature, then I think we're fine. Like, I think, just do that and we're good. Like, I don't, there's going to be balancing problems and stuff like that. There's going to be new bonuses that aren't as good as old bonuses or whatever. It's inevitable, and people will feel shitty about that because it does kind of feel shitty. But, I think on balance, it's worth it because players just benefit from it so much.
Yeah.
It feels cool to collect the pieces and to have the whole thing and get the bonuses. And like, even if you get stuck in a spot where it's like, I don't know, you need to like mix and match older sets awesome. Or whatever. I'm having some problems with the press site. I'm sure it's getting slammed right now.
I can just look at the stream if you want.
I can't see it too good. I'm downloading the thing to my.
It's like an 8K image as an FYI.
Yeah, it's huge. Yeah, they look not. It looks like they're all kind of they're kind of in groups of 3 or 4 themed around a particular flight. At least maybe the colorways change per difficulty. Yeah, they're pretty cool. I mean, they
zoom in on the blue ones on the right.
Yeah,
you can see that really the shoulders actually have like.
I think the Proto Drake shoulders. That's got to be the warrior set, right? Like, it just has to
or
be.
Or hunter or something like that. Yeah,
maybe it looks pretty bulky. That looks like warrior. The bronze one with the kind of crown around it looks like paladin probably.
Interesting.
Yeah, they look cool. They look really. I mean, the druid one's pretty obvious. I don't think we're mistaking that for anything. And the monk one looks kind of like Diablo 3.
Which one? Okay, so which one do you think is druid?
The second one from the left, the one that looks like an owl.
Okay.
It's got to be druid, right? It's probably rogue, druid, shaman, monk, paladin. Actually, that might be warrior.
I was gonna say,
I don't know that might be warrior. unfortunately, it's okay. That looks like Hunter. I don't know what these next ones are. Mage and Warlock, maybe. One of them's got to be the Drakthir Invoker, whatever it's called.
I think the second one with the horns coming up is probably... Sorry, the third one with the horns coming up is probably your Invoker.
Yeah, maybe.
But, and again, this is all guesswork in the sense that like these could just be that you get one armor set, and depending on a flight choice you make, it's a different color. Like I have no idea, right? Like
maybe. I mean, it's probably It's I would assume, maybe the glow effects are just set, and then the other pieces change based on the difficulty.
Something, yeah.
The designs are really cool though. So some of them are exceptionally cool. I really like the monk one. It's gonna look stupid on a Pandaren though. Everything looks stupid on a Pandaren though.
Fair,
so I guess like that means nothing.
That's probably the most interesting thing to me about concept art when you look at stuff like this is you're like, okay, so when they conceptualize art for this, they're choosing between male and female models is what they're doing.
Yep.
And so if they're choosing to do that, how much do they really concept the stuff out on like a Tauren or on like a,
I mean, it's
like that monk one,
yeah.
right? That monk one with the beaded shoulders and that one to me suddenly like, okay, well, let's put this on all of the different races that are in the game that can play monk. Let's see what this looks like. And it like you said, there's going to be some ones that it looks very kind of silly on or really much cooler on, and then you can do the genders because
really
then you
good on, like,
gender them differently
humans.
and suddenly it's another thing.
Yeah, anything wide that's going to look weird on. But then you have the other problem, I always have on my female night elf. It's like anything that looks good on a wide build doesn't look good on her.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it's cool. It's good stuff. I like it better than what we got now, and I've warmed up to what we have now. I really didn't like it at first, but I've warmed up to it. It fits the theme. It's not too bad. It's just, I wish that they all didn't look so similar to each other, I guess, and that's kind of the way they've gone. I feel like because they said years ago when they were getting rid of, class sets for BFA and most of Shadowlands, we don't really want to do the 17th time of what does a warlock look like versus what does a rogue look like. We want to have the stuff come from the place you get it from. And that was an okay experiment. But now it's kind of both. It's what does a warlock look like from Sepulchre, the first ones? And, what does a rogue look like from the Dragonflight raid? And it's, they look a little too similar to each other to me for it to, but I mean, then again, I guess that's just what we were used to for so long, right? Is a lot of times if you lined up all the class, tier sets together, they wouldn't really have any kind of coherent design, right? You could tell which one was which class, but beyond that, it was just it didn't necessarily fit any kind of a theme. Each set had its own, kind of standalone theme.
Yeah. All right. Well, overall, I have tons of questions, and I've made a list of questions. And if we ever get a chance to sit down with a dev, I will go over this list of questions with the dev.
I assume there's going to be a lot of press coming out in the next 24 hours because there was a lot of stuff there. I mean, it was a decently long presentation. And the stuff looks good. I mean, I'm really excited with the theming, and it sounds like they're making some cool choices. It's just for players who play the game the way that we do, it's there's just the we obviously know that, okay, we're getting new zones and there's going to be new allies and new enemies and, there's some new features and okay, we know that that's what an expansion is. And obviously you're selling this to as broad of an audience as possible, but that is not what the experience of playing World of Warcraft is on a day-to-day or week-to-week basis for people like us. So that's, I'm sure they got a billion press junkets lined up today and maybe continuing this week. So we'll have to just, keep an eye out for interviews and stuff.
Yeah. Anyways, for those who are curious, yes, there's going to be more interview stuff happening. As Jason said, I know that I can confirm that. So we'll get more press stuff coming out and we'll review that. But for now, we're going to start firing up an actual episode of World of Warcraft for TSE that we're going to do. So thanks for joining us for the reveal. I'm going to put up a little break screen here for a sec, and then we will kick off the podcast episode probably in about 10 minutes or 15 minutes or so. Just give Jason and I a break, and then we'll kick that off, and we'll record today's TSZ episode, and we'll go from there. All right. Thanks, everybody.